Okay, so I'm cracking on with Black Dog again. I've listened to the vocals in both keys that we talked about yesterday, and I do think it's better in the lower key. It is less strained. I think my ears had gone last night, but it does sound better to me this morning. So I'm going to be playing the song in A instead of D. It's quite a big change. Um, Listening back to the guitar parts, I do want to be able to play them properly rather than actually transposing them in the software. I think that's better. It doesn't sound too bad actually, but I think I'd just like to do that for my own personal satisfaction apart from anything else. It is rather difficult because really it goes down to notes that I can't actually play on this guitar because they're not there. So what I've done is I've detuned my bottom E to a bottom A, which is completely mental. So the bottom two strings are actually the same note, just an octave apart. Now, guitars aren't really built for this, and so that string is really loose and wobbly. And what I'm finding is if I press hard with my left hand, my fretting hand, on any of the notes on that string, it goes completely out of tune. So I've got to press really lightly, which is an um, interesting thing. So it is possible to play, but it does go out of tune very quickly. So I'll have to do a little bit of a take and then a tune, then a take, then a tune. It's a bit of a nightmare. Oh, excuse me. Um, but it does actually sound quite fun. So I'm going to record a bit now and then see what it sounds like with the drums and all that. Let's see if I can get it right. All the days of my life, I see a movement from the corner of my eye, and the flame of the smell of fuel made dry. Okay, so not too bad. So it's got that tune already. There we go, it's a bit better. Something like that anyway. Okay, so I've recorded all of those guitars again. I've actually left the intro guitar as it is, transposed. I tried playing it all sorts of different ways with a detuned guitar and all guitar. I couldn't actually get the same kind of nice feel that I had in the first one. So I've actually left it as the transposed. It sounds quite nice. It's meant to sound a little bit artificial and a bit crazy anyway. It's like a lead into the proper song. And I think it's working quite well. I did change the EQ on it and gave it a bit more treble, and that made a big difference to it actually. So what else have I done? I've recorded some bass. I've got a 6-string bass, which is fretless. In fact, you can see it over here, unless you're listening to the podcast, in which case you can't see it at all. But yes, it's a 6-string fretless. It's a Sandberg. It's lovely. I really enjoyed the bass yesterday after it had been transposed down because it was just so low. I had a cracking sound, but the sound quality wasn't very good. So what I've done is I've taken the bottom string on the 6-string bass and I've tuned it down even further to an E, which again is a little bit crazy, but all good fun, hey? Very rock and roll. So I've recorded a bass part with that, and that's sounding quite fun. So what have we got now? Well, now we've got all the guitars, we've got the bass. I've tweaked the vocals a little bit, but I haven't actually re-recorded them. I'm still practicing. I probably will re-record them at some point, but yeah, I'm still practicing to make sure that I get it right when I do it. If I record it now, I'll only want to re-record it in a couple of days anyway. So then came the bridge. Basically, there are several verses, and before the last chorus and verse, there's a break, and I just had the same chords going that I had for the verses before, and I listened to it, and it just sounded all a bit the same all the way through. And so what I've done is I've completely changed the chords in that break, and I've doubled up the length, to put a guitar solo in it, which I've done, and it just really breaks it up and makes it such a different sound. It absolutely revitalises the entire track. I'm dead chuffed with that. Now for the guitar solo, I basically picked a sound that's very like, there's a track by Steve Vai called For the Love of God. If you don't know that, well worth looking at. It's one of the best bits of guitaring around. It's absolutely fantastic. But I've got a sound very close to that. It's kind of round and lots of delay. It's lovely. And on tracks like this, I try and do something a bit different. If you're not careful, you can fall into the same patterns when you're playing over and over again, and everything you play can sound very similar. So what I did was I made a conscious effort when I was doing this solo to do two things. One is I was, rather than using a position on the fretboard and just moving up and down the strings and staying with my hand in a roughly same position, I made a conscious effort that almost every note I played, I moved up or down the fretboard by a considerable amount, so kind of jumping. And the other thing I was trying to do was skip strings, which again isn't actually very natural for me. I don't know if it is for anybody else, but those two things forced me to play stuff that I wouldn't normally play. So it's made it a bit more creative, and I really enjoyed it. And the solo that's come out of it is just a one take. I just put record, and with those two things in mind, just hit it. And it came out, and I'm really pleased with it. So I'll play you that now. The only thing I have done on it is I just tweaked a couple of little bits of timing on it, just to make it kind of fit the background a little bit better. So first of all, let's go back to the beginning. I'm going to play the intro, going into the verse and then to the chorus, just so you can hear the new guitars. New guitar sounds recorded properly. Okay.
Black dog is coming for me. Blood red eyes and teeth like a knife. Feel his breath on the back of my neck. Been stalking me all the days of my life. I see a movement from the corner of my eye, but nothing's there when I turn. The smell of fuel is rising high. Come on now, gonna watch you burn, watch you burn. That's that. And then I'm going to play you what I've put together. So I'm going to go through the end of the third chorus and into the lead break, and then back into the next chorus. So I'm going to put the vocals on as well, actually, because it's got that talking bit on it. So this bridge is kind of, it's a guitar solo, and then the guitar solo carries on underneath the talking bit. Flames lick higher, the fog recedes. My pulse slows, and my mind begins to clear. I look around me with glistening eyes. I begin to realize Black Dog wants me.
So there you go. That's it with the guitar solo one. So it may not stay like that to the end, but that's where I've got to so far. So that's Black Dog. I think it's getting there actually. I don't think I'm going to do any more on it this week. I'll have another listen tomorrow and just see if there's anything jumping out at me. Again, as normal, if you're in my email subscribers Facebook group, then I'll post up the entire thing for you to listen to with the vocals on and everything, and you can let me know what you think. A bit scary. Okay, speak to you soon.